Next day we get the call. Nabil, we're sorry, this is certainly cancer. We need you to come back in, and we're gonna do a staging ultrasound to see how bad this is. We'll be able to tell you if it's stage 1, 2, or 3. If it's further than that, we're gonna have to do more tests. And I already knew, if it's stage 1A, that's 70% chance of survival. And so I thought, okay, Lord, stage 1A, please, please stage 1A. And I prayed all that night. The next morning I come out of surgery and I say, give me some good news. And he says, I'm sorry. This is at least stage 3. It could be stage 4. Stage 3 comes with a 20% chance of survival. And this is, by the way, right at the end of August. And so where we were in Atlanta anyway, everyone's sending their kids to school. And they're holding up pictures saying, my daughter's first day of first grade. And everyone's, got these pictures. And I'm thinking, I pray God that I'll be able to see my daughter's first day of first grade. And go in the next day. So it was worst case scenario every single day when we go in. On Friday, I go in for the staging CT scan. And they tell me, we're sorry, this is stage 4. 4% chance of survival. 18 months, 18 to 24 months. And when you're going through this, by the way, just FYI, because some of you will unfortunately have to deal with that too in the future, that's the worst time, those days, when we're figuring out exactly how bad this is. Even after you find out it's as bad as it can get, it's still better than those few days. And so that I was constantly going back to this. Because now death is knocking on the door. Oh, it's nice and fine and easy to say death has no sting and to say I believe in this until death comes and stares you in the face. Then you say, do I really believe this? Or is it just something I think I believe, or I want to believe, or the people around me believe, or that I've said I believed? Do I really believe this? And I had the very good fortune of having to have given up a ton in order to start believing this. And so all I had to do was to go back to those reasons. Why do I know? Why do I believe? And as I'm sitting before the Lord and I'm exploring whether I can be sure this message is true, I realize there's excellent historical reason to believe that Jesus claimed to be God and then proved it by rising from the dead. There's excellent scientific reason to believe that this world was created by a creator who loves us, a personal agent who created this world out of love for us. Scientifically, there's excellent reason to believe that. Philosophically, there's excellent reason to believe that this universe was created by God who loves us. Theologically, there's excellent reason to believe this message. In fact, there's very little reason not to believe this message. But what do you do? What do you do as you're sitting there saying, God, I want to be there for my daughter's first day of first grade? What do you do? I'm thinking, really, it was 3 things that to me were just playing over and over in my mind. Number 1 was my wife. I have not been good to my wife. I have dragged her all over the world. Every single year we've moved. Since we got married, every year we've moved. And because of that, she has no community. She has no friends. And I've been thinking, hey, I got to preach the gospel. I got to go here and learn this. I got to do this, blah, blah, blah. And I've left her without a support group. I've left her without a home church. I've left her without people to lean on in this time. And what if, if the worst were to happen, I didn't do right by her. That was thought number 1. Thought number 1 and 2 came together, and that was my daughter. It's one thing to leave this world, death, there is no sting. It's another thing to leave a 14-month-old daughter who will never know her father. Thank you, we don't have to worry about death, but what about this? And thought number 3 was all those Muslims who've been praying for my death, and they tell me that they have been, will feel like Allah has vindicated them. And all those Muslims who I've been ministering to, who've been thinking about accepting Christ, will say, is that what happens when you accept Christ? 33-year-old, no reason to have this cancer whatsoever, no history of cancer in the family, no smoking history, doesn't have the alcoholic history, doesn't have the age that you're supposed to have for this cancer. God cursed him Is that what happens? I'm not going to have any part of this guy named Jesus. Those were my 3 greatest concerns. But of course, I like living too. I kind of want to be here. It's fun. No matter what situation you're in, if you're hearing this message, there is always so much to be thankful for. If you can literally hear this message, do you realize everything that's going into you being able to hear this message? There's all that to be thankful for. In my case, this is my stomach, right? And it's metastasized to lymph nodes and such. Thankfully, no organs yet, but this is my stomach. It's not my fingers, it's not my hands, it's not my legs, it's not my eyes, right? There's so much for me to still be thankful for. It's not my hair. I've started chemo and I still have hair. Sweet, thanks God. Didn't feel as awkward coming to preach. Thank you for my hair. There's always so much to be thankful for. And whatever has befallen you could have been worse. I'm sorry if that sounds rough. I don't know what situation you're in, but this thought came to me when someone said to me, Nabil, it's okay for you to be mad at God. And he was a former Muslim, so he understood how hard it is for us to be mad at God because we're afraid. I'm like, look, I'm not afraid to be mad at God. I'm just not mad at God. He could have, if he wanted to, taken me out. The doctor said I have 18 months. I could have had 18 seconds. I could have had no time at all to say goodbye to the people I love, to put my affairs in order, to seek the Lord and grow closer to Him. It could have been way worse. As it is, I went to med school. I know how wrong those doctors often are. It could be 18 years. It could be 80 years. This is not over yet. So much to be thankful for. What has befallen me, God can use to refine me. This is the sermon I initially wanted to preach. Look, God refines us through our sufferings. That's His primary chosen method to make us better people. Am I saying He gives us those sufferings? I'm not making any comment on that. But all I'm saying is when we're suffering, God is more than able to use that to refine us into better people. And He, in His sovereignty, does allow it to happen. But what has befallen me, I can use to glorify God. This cancer has given me what Tim Timmons calls the gift of perspective. Everything that I was worried about all of a sudden stopped mattering, and the things that really mattered became important. In a way, it's a gift. Jesus has suffered more physically. Okay, check this out. I again, don't know what you're going through, but you're not being crucified in first century Rome. Right? Your skin is not hanging from your body in ribbons. Your intestines are not at the verge of falling out of your body. You aren't being whipped to the point of death, and your nerves aren't being pierced by the nails of people whom you created. No one's about to stick a spear in your side as you are dying for that very person. Jesus went through more, and that's not to make you feel guilty. It's to remind you to love Him for having gone through even more than what you're going through. Voluntarily, He did that. I would never would I voluntarily take what I'm going through now. And He voluntarily took so much more for us, out of love for us.